Yo, we got a video here today, and we're looking at the age-old question of why guys seem to hate the ladies. So let's get straight into it.
Help understand why a lot of men hate the word feminism and why they get, I guess, anxious and angry or frustrated whenever a woman calls herself a feminist, even if she doesn't identify.
I don't really hate the word. It's more that I dislike how they're hiding behind egalitarianism. They try to say it's all equal this, equal that. There is a push for the female imperative, and people will say that they don't like the new stuff. I'm going to just put it out there. I don't like the whole enchilada.
Identify with a lot of the movements that happen, particularly in feminism as a whole, or like the more recent ones. Again, I called myself a feminist based on the textbook definition, which is basically just celebrating how far women have come today and wanting it to stay there.
So that's the textbook definition of celebrating how far they've come and then maintaining it, making sure that they never give back the power that they were essentially given.
Like equal pay, equal rights, wanting to be valued and celebrated. That's pretty much what it is. And that's kind of like where I stand still. I don't agree with a lot of the new movements with.
So at the expense of what? You're wanting to be celebrated at the expense of whom? Whom? Because there's only so much celebration to go around the world. We're all fighting over the same finite amount of resources. And we're getting a bit worrisome that we just keep printing. Just print some more of that sweet fiat.
Feminism, I don't agree with like these angry man-hating feminists. I disagree with a lot of them. I would actually disagree with a lot of them if I had a conversation with them. I'm sure I would still disagree. I would try to understand where they're coming from and the reason why they think that the way that they do.
They just want to have their way. They want to go all the way. There is no halfway. There is no 1990s classical French liberalism, whatever you want to call it. It's a one-way street to total crazy town, and I feel like we're about halfway through the journey.
But I do still think that at the end of that conversation, I would still disagree with a lot of the things that they say, because I don't think it is a healthy narrative to push where you hate a gender. Like, I just don't in general, whether it's men doing it to women or women doing it to men. Like, we need each other to exist, and we should be able to talk about these kinds of things. And
We should be able to, but we're not. If we get too nuanced, if we get too into the nitty gritty, boom, you'll be shadow banned, put into the ether. Who knows? Half of this stuff probably gets shadow banned.
I try to understand, some of the parts of the puzzle, but I can only do so much. So I'm going to get into a comment that I had, and we're just going to create a conversation topic around some of these comments. So someone said, "Women lie about what they want in a man. You tell us what to do."
They gaslight and project. They say that they want someone that's kind, caring, but they really want someone that's assertive, got his stuff together, got a bit of coin backing him up, and has a long-term, high-value future plan. However you want to phrase it, that white picket fence with the 2.5, that has to all be a part of the whole equation.
In order to put you on a pedestal and put you first when hiding it behind, "This is what we want." How you look at men is counter to the Christian faith. Taylor and Kevin would dominate you in a debate. You are capping. Okay. Well, first of all, I agree with part of that. And the reason is I think women might accidentally lie about what they want, but is it a lie if they don't know? No, I don't think a lot of women are out here intentionally thinking.
And there you go. End it right here. Hit the like on the way out. They know that they can just play naive. They can just pretend ignorance, and that's good enough. Oh, I was just young and dumb. That's why I had a child out of wedlock. Oh, it was just this. I didn't know. I just didn't know that that's what happened when you do the double monkey backflips.
Thinking, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to think, how can I screw over Brad? How can I screw over Scott? Like, these are just, a random example, but I don't think women are waking up thinking this, or thinking, I'm going to just lie to them and tell them.
So are you saying that they're just naturally doing it then? They are, instead of unknowingly doing it, they have just been programmed to do those types of things, to just use and abuse. And that's why I say everyone's quite selfish, right? In modern times. That's why I say invest in yourself. Be selfish to yourself first, and then hopefully you can help others.
the opposite of what I actually want to confuse the crap out of them. I think a lot of women are actually genuinely confused and conflicted with what they think that they want because they're fed so many different things from so many different sources. And we have people all over the internet, like you and like so-and-so, telling us.
The other problem is that you just take it. You're gullible. It strokes the ego real well. And then, yeah, let's go. I can do it all. I can have it all. I can be CEO. I can have 10 kids. I can be Superwoman. And I can be UFC champion.
What we want, telling us how we should be doing it, telling us all these different things. And I think it just gets confusing at a certain point. So I can understand like why it would come across like that. And I'm sorry if that's what you have genuinely experienced in your dating life or maybe someone else's dating life. That really sucks. And I'm sorry for that. But I don't think a lot of women do it intentionally. So that's all that I have to say to that.
What's the difference? Whether you do it intentionally or by accident, happens. The receipts are there, and people share those examples with others, and some people seem to have identical results.
And then the comment about Taylor and Kevin would dominate you in a debate. I might be doing a live with Taylor. I'm not sure yet. You guys have been requesting a lot. Him and I have been talking about it, but we'll see. And then I have a couple different response videos that I'm planning on doing too. So I have a lot coming up. Just bear with me and stay tuned for all these new conversations. Side note, I also think that how you were raised like has a huge effect on how you are going to choose your partner or even friendships, like who's in your.
Of course. And how have people been raised? There's places in England where I used to grow up where not only is this all a bunch of single mothers, all of the schooling, early, middle, 70-80% of the teachers, ladies. You got some kids that literally don't have any kind of positive adult male role model example. They don't have it, and they're getting taught just one half of the pie, really. They're not getting taught the whole picture. They want to talk about diversity this, equality this. Well, they are very selective when they decide on those things.
Your circle, how the examples like that you were able to see growing up, that's going to have a huge effect. Like, were you in a healthy family dynamic where there was a mother and there was a father, and they were able to raise you in a way that showed you the role?
And then you've got people that go, oh, well, even those have bad, and they have to Google it up. In general, that's the best situation. You have a stable, your biological parents, really. That's the ideal scenario, that it's biological mama, biological papa, and they stick it out and they make it work.
Roles within a marriage, the roles within a healthy relationship that got it to the point where it did. Thankfully, I come from a place where I had a mother and a father, and they're still married today. They've been married for over 27, 28 years, I believe. And I had that example of, wow, marriage is actually real. Like, wow, like people can actually stay together. And I have a lot of other people in my family that are in that same boat. So,
and you say you're like mid-20s now. So if you had that great example, either, I mean, I'm just assuming, I don't see any engagement ring, or maybe there is. Maybe I get engaged next month, but you had the foundation to lock it down within the church, I'm guessing, right? You got a stable mom, dad, make it work.
My whole family is kind of just like that, and I'm very thankful for that. And I have other friends that's not the case. So I've seen what it's like. I've also had friends, and I have known people in different church environments and non-church environments, because this can happen on either end of that spectrum.
I will tell you straight up, if someone is half decent and not just a loony bin, not totally crazy, they have got so much abundance of options at church. So much. They can pick up their beta. They can pick up their borderline Chad Light, whatever. But the CC's too fun, and I'm not making the assumption that this one's doing the CC. That's just what's happening in general. Big parties always going down every weekend.
Divorce is devastating. That's a whole different video I'm going to be doing with one of my friends. He is actually a child of a single parent, and we're going to be talking about divorce rates and the statistics of a man or woman growing up and being successful with only a single mom or dad. There's like...
That's good. And we know the outcomes. It's worse for the ones with single, and it's better for the ones that have the biological parents.
All these other things, but stay tuned for that video. That's going to be really informative, and I'm going to be learning with that because I don't really know too much about that. A lot of these things are very, very new for me because I have not had to. It's just not something that I've really researched or learned a lot about.
And fair enough. It's not something that you've had to research or even think about, because a lot of this stuff doesn't really affect your bank account, doesn't really affect your wallet most of the time. I'm only talking about 90% of the time. People say, but there's a random Mary J. Blige musician having to pay alimony. Yeah, and there's about 1,000 other guys paying it the other way.
Before, but I'm excited to hear all the new numbers on all that. So having a healthy family dynamic is really important, and I can understand why some women and men, because both people can do this, would continually enter into really bad situations or just situations that aren't good for whatever reason because they didn't have that role model to look up to. So my encouragement is to find people that you can look up to, whether
people just don't want to learn from their mistakes. They don't have a very strong belief system in pretty much anything. They're just waiting for the next Marvel movie and the next episode of Mandalorian.
they are on social media, whether they're in a organization, a church, something like that. Like, have people that you can look up to, whether it's your friends, family, whatever, and you kind of use that as an example of what you want your life to look like. Also,
and that's the ideal society right there. Have all of these structures, people to look up to, mentors, great examples. But what are our examples? What is put into our frame? It's just generic normie crap.
also mentorship. Mentorship is really cool and it's really important. There's also therapy. Therapy is awesome. I know a lot of people that before they got married, they went to premarital counseling, and it like really helped just their relationship in general. But that's a whole different video, and I won't get too far into that. I'll get back into the comments.
Potentially that could work, and there really should have been other training processes before the marriage anyway. And they used to have these expertise, these people that would specialize in grooming a first lady and even a gentleman and all of it. They used to have those, but that's where it wasn't handed down. None of that information was handed down. It was actually deleted.
Modern day feminism has a strong strand of misandry. That might be true. Again, I literally was just going off of the textbook definition, you guys.
It is true. All of it does. It all has a link of misandry. But maybe it doesn't. It's more of just female chauvinism. That's what it is. She just said it to celebrate it. And at the expense of who? There's only so much celebration to go around. People might think, no, that's crazy. No, there is. There's only so much attention. There's only so much. Because celebration ultimately means money, backing, funding. That's why people would say MGTOW is the same as feminism. What government money are we getting? What corporate money are we getting? Cut it out.
Guys. So I don't like how a lot of people clumped me together with this group of people that I really didn't know anything about, because I literally just Googled it and I liked what the definition was, and I was like, I side with this, and that's what I stuck myself to. I don't know if that's actually what I am.
How simple is that? I just Googled it. I liked it. It sounded great. I side with that. Done. Hive mind in effect.
I will let you know in a couple weeks whenever I have some more information. There should be a new word that is for just celebrating women, and celebrating men. There should be a term.
There we go. Finally, a little bit of celebration for the gents, for the guys. We finally get some. But you see how it's only an afterthought. It's just like, here's some crumbs. We get the whole slice of bread. You get the crust.
For that too. There probably is. I, again, didn't look it up yet. This person says you are smart but very naive and unexperienced. The absolute truth is that in statistics, and even women talk about this, is that generally women stick with a man for 3 to 4 months. Once the new has worn off, they get bored and ditch him for the next guy. Social media and dating apps encourage this behavior, since for women...
Well, not only does it encourage it, it flat out facilitates it. All of these many messaging apps is 5, 10, 15... Maybe they just made a new one today, but some of them even have that Mission Impossible message deleted. They send the message and then it burns up. It just whoosh. It allows people to be very, very sneaky.
Finding a new guy is easier than ordering Uber Eats. Okay, I can understand that perspective. I would say there are other reasons too why things end, but...
Name them, because you got the options. It's monkey branch time. See... This is this open, unchecked hypergamy where even if, and not only can you monkey branch up, you've also got some half-decent backup. People that they're stopping the backup from actually meeting someone else that it could work out in a better scenario.
That's like shiny ball syndrome, right? So I personally don't know anyone closely that has just cut it off just because they're bored. It's more of they cut it off because
It's not about you. That's what this is the solipsism. It's not about what you know and your experiences. This is combined from all around the world. People are sharing their stories and they're starting to find out trends.
they caught some behaviors that they didn't like. They caught some secrets that they didn't like, cheating, fooling around with other people, things like that that are legitimate reasons.
That's the best one. Just immediately, they were cheating. It has to be a reason why they did it. They can't be selfish. They can't admit that they're selfish at times, right? I can say I'm selfish at times. I'm not always selfish, but it seems that only guys can be selfish.
Reasons to cut the cord. But I'm not saying that's the case for everyone, so I understand that. Men have to spend decades building up their value, but women can just swipe.
Yeah, and if they don't cash it in at the right time, then they'll sit around and complain and say guys ain't good enough. They had a great 10 years, fun 10 years riding around, and they just didn't cash in. And they should have done it about halfway through. Really, it shouldn't even exist. They've got great opportunities in their prime, and stop wasting it.
Women gauge their value by the kind of guy she can get. Men don't do that. You are interpreting it in a way because you are viewing men's actions through a female lens and misinterpreting their intentions. Okay, well, the first thing that you said was women gauge their value based on the kind of man they can get. Men don't do that. Men definitely do that. Are you kidding? I know men that once they got the girl that they finally wanted, they feel like their whole value has gone up and their whole life purpose has gone up.
Fair enough. That's the ones that are looking for the arm candy to show off, right? To show off to the friends. This is my new ride, new car.
They finally got the person that they felt like God sent them. They finally got that person that they felt like was made for them. And beautiful women, beautiful men. Like the same thing for both parties.
See, that's a big myth. This whole like God will send you someone specifically. You just never think that everyone's compatible. You just have to make compromises. You just have to have similar values, similar overall perspective, overall belief system. But this idea of the one special one, that holds out to the hypergamy too, as if this Prince Charming, this Disney make-believe, Twilight book, whatever, 50 Shades of Grey. And that's why they wait. That's why they wait too long on the CC.
Feminism is not about gender equality at all. It's about female superiority. First wave feminism was about right.
That's the truth. Boom. It is just chauvinism. And I'm not even going to get into the other one because I'm saying straight up, the whole enchilada is rotten.
Women got their equal rights. Yeah, that's great. Also, there are like little things too, like in the music industry, for example, because I am a recording artist, there's only 5% of producers in music are women. Okay, and no woman has ever been
And does anyone ask why is that the reason? Does anyone say how many of them are studying it? How many of them are good at it? They just want to have the 50% parity in these producer CEOs. They would not want to be 50% bricklayers, 50% roofers, 50% garbage collectors. No, they're not asking for that. This is why it comes down to superiority.
Nominated or has ever won a Grammy. In 2019, I believe, was the first woman who was actually even nominated for a Grammy. Okay, like there's a huge gender gap in the music industry, and I believe it's 20.
And you know why? Because we're different. And some people are more dedicated and put in the work and effort and actually grow and learn and become elite in their craft. And those people are hard to come by. They don't just grow on trees. But anyway, gents, we're going to leave it there. As always, thoughts, comments, but low. And hit that like on the way out. It takes 1.5 seconds. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.